Good morning. Today is the 2nd of July, 2025, and I am enjoying my cup of coffee. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I would have done this a little bit earlier, but I had to do some drawing for my client today. I have an all-day tattoo today to do, probably about a 6 to 8 hour tattoo. I love these appointments because there's so much less stress on me when I just worry about one tattoo throughout the day instead of 3 or 4. Or if this person's going to be late, are they going to make me late for my next appointment? Yeah, just the whole rigmarole with trying to keep my day busy when I'd rather just do one big one a day, make my money, go home. So this is what I strive to go for: is one big tattoo throughout the day, go home at the end of the day. The day flies by, you make killer money, you know, and that's my plan for today. But other than that, I wanted to talk about daily habits today. Things that we do on a daily habit that we could change, that would drastically improve your life. I'm going to give you guys daily habits that I do that I feel that as soon as I started doing these every day, that my life radically changed for the better, and in different ways, in ways that you won't necessarily see right off the bat. But here it is. So the first thing is, every day you want to exercise, some kind of physical activity, and your job doesn't count, unfortunately. Manual labor sucks, and it's hard on the body, and it does wear you out. And you are burning calories, but it's not the same as weights, resistance. You want to build muscle, and you want to have cardio. You want to be fit, okay? Americans have gotten so out of shape and so lazy that a 20-minute walk after dinner is now puts you at the top 10% of exercise. Like that's how bad it's become, okay? I do either cardio or weights pretty much every day. Every day I'm doing something, even if I just do a bunch of push-ups or a bunch of sit-ups or do both. I do something every day, and doing it in the morning really radically changes your viewpoint, at least for the rest of the day. I used to get up early when I worked early and did it. I would be in the gym at 5 in the morning, right? Like people say they don't have time. You have time. You have time. Trust me. You've scrolled on your phone enough to know that you have time. Okay, you could put your phone down for 40 minutes a day. It's not that hard. And with that, I'm going to move on to the next daily practice that I think people should do. Read every day. It doesn't matter really what you read. Just read a book, newspaper, magazine. Just read for half an hour to an hour every day. And yes, you have time for that too before you go to bed. Everybody does. Okay, reading engages your brain in different ways than just watching a movie or listening to a podcast and off in the background. You actually have to think about the sentences, the sentence structure. You actually have to process the information. And you can also absorb a lot more information a lot more quickly with a book than you can with a video. You see, human beings can only talk so fast, and they can only broadcast so much information at so much of a pace. I think the pace is something like 8 bytes a second at the most. Right? We can't communicate. It's hard to communicate a lot of ideas in a quick amount of time. With a book, you can read faster, and you can absorb the energy much quicker, or the information much quicker. So, and you guys, well, how do you get faster at reading? You do it more often. You do it every day. You read every day. So that's my second recommendation. My third recommendation is to pick up a musical instrument of some sort. I play guitar. I've been playing since I was 13. I'm not a Joe Satriani shredder or nothing. I'm not a superstar. I just like to play. It keeps my brain active. And again, a half an hour to an hour every day. That's it. You don't need to practice for hours on end to even get better. If you even practiced for 1 hour a day, you would drastically improve on that in that instrument. And they say something about 10,000 hours to master anything. Well, the only way to get there is to put in those hours, right? And on another daily habit that I like to do is to do something creative. Paint a picture, draw something, play music, that's creative, write a song, right? And you don't have to post it, and you don't have to get likes. Just do it just to do it, just to stay creative. Write a poem, write, what if we all brought diaries back and people started writing down their daily events in a diary? I think that's a lot better than posting it on Facebook, personally. Again, it engages your brain in a lot different ways than just posting it. When you post it, you're essentially trying to get that dopamine hit for likes, and you're essentially asking for attention. if you can teach yourself to get off the attention, to get off that, you know, you'll be fine. You'll have a lot better chance of getting these things accomplished as well. You know, the other thing I would recommend, a daily thing, would be the obvious stuff like brush your teeth and wash your ass. That's pretty obvious, right? I mean, nobody likes a stinky person, so that's that. Especially after you drink coffee, your teeth turn brown like mine. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And I would say the last habit that you should do every day, that's probably the most important, is going to be pray to your God. Pray. Some sort of communication, some sort of mental, whatever you want to call it, with your, what you call God. I'm not pinpointing any religion here. I'm not saying one God is better than the other, or your belief system is better than the other. I just think people need to be more spiritual in general. I think that if people were more of a spiritual nature, we would probably have less nonsense on the planet. I think we would have more of a human spirit come back, and more connection between people. And I think that we could probably have better discussions if people were more spiritual in general. I feel that if people were in touch with God, that there would be this understanding. But a lot of people have shied away from God, and I feel that that's a major problem right now. Whether you guys want to agree with me or not, but it's okay to believe in something more powerful than you. This is a construct. We live in a pseudo-reality. This isn't real. You're just passing through, okay? And I don't know if you guys believe in the souls and whatnot, but I do, okay? I believe that we were all meant for something. You were given your gifts. You were put here for something, for some purpose, and that's up to you to find that purpose. I really hope that if I make these videos, that young men will watch these, and because this is really who I'm trying to target in my audience right now, is younger men. I really would like to help guide and direct younger men, because this is our future leaders, is young men. And right now the future's not looking too good, you know, and a lot of it has to do with the cell phone and how much it's destroyed relationships with people. And I could go on and on and on about the evils of the cell phone. So developing daily habits that separate you from your cell phone would be a good thing to do, right? Like exercise. I don't look at my phone while I'm at the gym or when I'm lifting weights. I might have a podcast on in the background depending on my environment, but if I'm at the gym, I don't do that. I just talk to people. I started intentionally leaving my headphones in the locker just so I would talk to people. You know, I don't want to just sit there and listen to no, I'm a social person. I talk to people, okay? So I started doing that. I have better workouts if I sit there and communicate with people. You know, and it's like I said, it's about developing these daily habits that somewhat get your mind right and get you into a program, get you used to doing positive things every day, trying to be constructive, you know, trying to produce something in your life, whether it be that art piece or that music or that project you wanted to get on, or that bench that you're making for the house, which is I need to get started on. But whatever the project may be, you know, like it keeps your mind occupied off of the nonsense. And the more and more you keep your mind away from this Black Mirror device, the nonsense, the chaos, the dystopia that we live in, better off you're going to be. Because if we don't turn this ship around and get the plot back and figure out what it means to be a human being, we're lost forever. It's really kind of crazy to think that, you know, we are kind of coming towards the end times right now, and people think, well, we've said that every generation, and we've always believed that it was the end times. But I do believe we are getting towards the end times, the one that the Bible talks about with the mark of the beast. It talks about, you know, one world government, the whole thing, the Third World War. We're getting really close to all that. And people think that, like you said, we've said this every generation, but things just have not felt right in the last 5 years, at least since COVID. Everybody I talk to can agree with me on that, that COVID was the start of the downhill, the final descent into madness, so to speak. It started with COVID. Now, naturally, we've been working towards this for a while, but COVID was the turning point. Everybody on the planet was affected by COVID. Not one person on this planet did not see any effects from it. Either you had to wear a mask, you caught COVID, you got the jab because your job forced you, or whatever, you were on lockdown. Everybody felt COVID, and it affected us in one way, shape, or form. This is my theory as to why COVID, the beginning of COVID, also being the year that it started, 2020, there's a reason for that. And I can explain in other videos why, but that is the turning point that has been sailing the ship towards the cliffs, towards the waterfall, towards the iceberg. That's the event that turned us that direction. That's what I believe. And I believe that it's going to be a few more events, so to speak, that's going to guide our ship straight into that iceberg and collapse like the Titanic. And I think that's their goal. I really do think that. And so what happens when society collapses? Well, you're in shape because you work out every day. You got wisdom and knowledge because you read every day. You can entertain people with your music, which is very important in collapses. Okay? If you've been reading the right stuff, you more than likely have skills in hunting, fishing, trapping, farming, gardening, all the important stuff to keep you fed. You're already there. And if you read up enough history, you would know that being a prepper isn't necessarily a bad idea. And you probably prepped up and stocked up on a bunch of things that'll last forever, like canned goods and stuff like that. Right? You probably planned ahead, knowing that you've seen historically speaking what happens when they print money to oblivion. We've seen it time and time again, and if you read any history or any kind of social studies or any of that, you know exactly where this ship is sailing. So it's all about preparing your mind and your body for this, essentially, is what I'm getting at. You know, developing daily habits that will keep you out of the matrix as much as possible. You know, but B, also, it's going to benefit you. Right? Well, anything I said, they're daily habits. Was any of those a bad thing? You know, they weren't. They're all going to benefit you in some way, shape, or form. And let's say you get into a hobby, an artistic hobby, and you really enjoy it. You know, you make benches. Like, I'm going to keep bringing up benches because I'm starting one right now. You make these awesome oak benches, and you sell them for $500 a piece. You spend about $50 in materials on the wood. I'm just hypotheticalizing, if that's a word. You end up turning that hobby into a business. You now sell these tables. You start in the marketplace, Facebook marketplace, and you're selling them, you're dealing with all that nonsense. The next thing you know, you got enough money coming in, you go, hey, let's do a website. So you open up a website, an online marketplace, you allow people to make their custom orders. The next thing you know, you're busier than you even know what to do with. Your social media is blowing up, and it all started with a hobby. This is what I urge people to do, is to get into that mind frame of being self-employed and figure out some way to make your own money. Because the future is not going to have jobs for you. And these places are not loyal to you. They'll fire you on a whim. They don't give a shit. 25 years working there, they'll fire you and take your pension. They don't care about you. Once you start going self-employed, everything changes. So I'm going to leave this video with that, kind of a shorter video, but you guys get the point. Develop daily habits so that you are prepared better mentally, physically for the future, the collapse that is inevitably coming. Have a nice day.